Hey guys, it's Hannah and welcome back to the Dyslexic Reader. Today we are doing the NEWTs Readathon Wrap Up 2018. This is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, linked in I don't know which corner, go and check that out. I read 24 books in the month of August and I got 8 O's in my NEWTs. I done the first 4 subjects in the first video. I'm going to do the next 4 subjects in this video. So if you want to pause and go get a beverage or snack, now is the time to do so because these are not short videos. Okay, firstly, Care of Magical Creatures. Read a book with an animal on the cover. Now it wouldn't be a Harry Potter readathon unless I read a Harry Potter book at some stage, and I went with, you guessed it, The Order of the Phoenix. There's our animal on the cover. This is a first edition of The Order of the Phoenix. It came out, the hardback, the British one. So yeah, this was really fun. I loved it. 5 stars, so enjoyable. Not sure it is my favourite in the series, but it is pretty high up there. I'm gonna have to do a video about that sometime, like ranking my favourite Harry Potter book. I think that would be an interesting one to do. For an E in Care of Magical Creatures, you had to read a book with under 160 pages. And I picked The Life Sentence by Andy Christophides. Not sure how to pronounce that surname. Give this 3 stars. It was okay. I would say if you were just kind of like interested in Christianity or had only just like started looking into Christianity, it was kind of interesting, but I didn't find anything mind-blowing into it. And this kind of sparked an idea in my head that I might do a discussion video talking about reviewing and talking about religious material on BookTube. I don't know, I'm not really quite sure how it would come off or how I would approach the subject, so if that's something that you would be interested in, make sure that you let me know down below, because if no one's interested in it, I'm not going to go through the hassle because it's kind of complicated. And for an O, you had to read a book with a dragon, and for that, I picked The Hobbit, got a dragon in it. This is the graphic novel, which I love and I've read many times, and the sun is not allowing me. There's our dragon to show you a lot of the artwork, but here it is. 5 star. Love The Hobbit, and I love this graphic novel that has a lot of kind of memories for me, as well as actually enjoying the story. Moving on to Herbology. For an A, you had to read a book with a green cover, and I picked Shade Those Laurels by Cyril Connolly and Peter Levi. I had such high hopes for this book. It was written a serialized murder mystery by Cyril Connolly. He died before he could finish it, and then Peter Levi went back many years later and finished it. The writing was so pompous in this, it didn't make sense. Half of it didn't have to be in the story. I give it a 2 stars. It was really, really hard to finish this, although it is a beautiful book. It just like most of it was just, and it was written in the 1950s as a contemporary, and I feel like I missed a lot of things. They were like, oh, well, Mr. Floyd says this, and it was like a joke and everyone was laughing, and probably Mr. Floyd was like the Secretary of State or something at the time. I don't know, like I felt like a lot of it was lost to me. It was never written to be read past it being serialized in the magazine, so therefore it was very topical and current, and it just didn't translate well, and the writing, as I said, was extremely pompous and over the top, and I did not like this one. For an E in Herbology, you had to read a book with illustrations, another graphic novel. I picked Seekers of the Weird. This is part of the Disney Kingdoms Marvel tie-in series. This is the Haunted Mansion themed one, and it's about a museum filled with weird artifacts. The art style is pretty beautiful. It was a 5-part comic series, I'm going to say, and each of the comics had a different illustrator, so each of the parts in this is like illustrated slightly different. The style is quite cohesive, but it is different. And then in the back of the book there's original concept art for the Haunted Mansion and stuff. So I read this before, didn't remember much about it, and again I give it a 5 stars. It's just a really enjoyable little graphic novel, and Haunted Mansion holds a special place in my heart. So the whole history, there's a letter at the front explaining how this all ties in and stuff. It's just really enjoyable. For an O in Herbology, you had to read a book with light, air, sun or water in the title, and I read First Light. This was By the blurb pitched as a young boy goes on an expedition to Greenland with his scientific parents, which is true, but this book is so much more. I give this a 5 stars. It was so enjoyable. The characters were so good. How the stories, there's like 2 timelines that intertwine, how that's all connected. It's really good. The writing is good. It's just super fun. I love the Arctic setting, and if you have a child or know a child who would be interested and you think this kind of like Arctic scientific explorer kind of thing, if they liked, is it the Polar Bear Explorer Club that I read last month or the month before? That kind of vibe. This was fantastic. 5 stars. Potions. We're getting there. For an egg, you had to read a book with a colour in the title. This is a story and a half. I searched my library for ages. I had elderly men scouring the library with me, and could we find one? No. But we ended up coming across The Monster from the Blue Planet by Cornelia Funk. This is again one of these little gem books, the same as the Michael Morpurgo book that I read for divination. This was a 3 star. It was fun, pretty cute. Still a picture book. The story was nice. Writing's nothing mind blowing, but you know, the concept and the illustrations and stuff was cute. For what it is, it was fine. For E, you had to read a book with a male lead, and I read Gregor the Overlander by Suzanne Collins. This is the first Suzanne Collins books I've ever read, and I really enjoyed it. I think I might possibly continue with the series. I think my library has them all, not only in physical copy but in audiobook, so I might do like a dual thing from now on where I'll go to the library and get the book and then also download the audiobook on my phone and kind of go back and forth. This is about a young boy and his baby sister. Their father is missing, and so they're dealing with a lot of family things. You know, their mum's working and trying to support them and stuff, and they go into the laundry room one day and kind of fall down a hole and go to the underland. They're from the overland, and there's like 4-foot high cockroaches and bats that do tricks and all this kind of stuff, and it's just fun and fantasy and a cool middle grade book. Some of the characters I really enjoyed. I just thought it was fun, so I gave it a 4 stars. It was better than a 3 star I thought, but it wasn't a 5 star, so that's why anything ends up in a 4 star, I guess. And for an O in potions, you had to read a book over 350 pages. And I picked The Wizard of Once by Crescinda Kyle. Probably not pronounced that correctly. This is the author of the How to Train Your Dragon series, which I've never read. I've seen the first movie and liked it. I did not like this. The illustrations throughout were cool. Like, there's this page from the spell book, and it's actually like drawn out. They're just like really sketchy. She does the illustrations herself, and it just adds something to it, I think. The writing style wasn't for me, and I didn't think that the sort of story really gripped me particularly. I just wasn't invested in it, and I was almost going to buy this like full price when it came out, and I'm glad that I held off and spotted it in the library, because it's not really one that I would want to have on my shelf. But I would say if you're a How to Train Your Dragon fan of the books, then you would probably like this. She has a very unique kind of style, but it just wasn't for me. The final subject, I went with Ancient Runes, and to get an egg you had to read a book set in the past. And I read the Day of the Predator Got There by Alex Scarrow. This is the second book in the Time Rider series, and I enjoyed this more than the first one. The first one I gave 3 stars. I thought was alright. This one I really enjoyed the story, but I still only gave it 4 stars because of Liam, one of the main characters in it. He's supposedly Irish, and not only is his accent wrong, like nobody talks like that, it's also very annoying to read and inconsistent, and it keeps pulling me out of the story. It's annoying. So yeah, there was a good twist in this. I predicted the twist in this one from the first one, so it wasn't really a twist. But it does add a little something to the story. I like the idea, and it's set in the past because, as you can probably tell, this is a book about time travelers, the series, if it's not apparent. they go back to like dinosaur times, like, I don't know, like 65 million years BC or whatever. But yeah, I really enjoyed the story of this. It was really gripping. I really enjoyed it. It made me just want to jump straight into the next one. It was only Liam as a character which is holding me back from the 5 stars. For an E, you had to read a book on that has been on yourself for a long time and you've never got round to reading. And I read more about Paddington by Michael Bond. I'm not a massive Paddington fan, but I received this book. It was like a coupon that you cut out of the newspaper, and then you went to like a local store and then you just got one. You didn't have to purchase anything else or anything. And I done this like years and years ago. I never got round to reading this. It's just little short stories about Paddington Bear, which was fine, but I don't really like Michael Bond's writing. So I ended up giving it a 3 star. Like, some of the stories were really good, some of them were okay, none of them were bad, but I just don't really connect with Michael Bond's writing. But yeah, it was super cute and I did enjoy reading it, but I'm just not a massive kind of Paddington fan. But as I said, this has been on my shelves for years and years and years because it was like a free pickup thing. I never would have bought it. Yeah, it was cute. We're on to the final book. To get an O in Ancient Runes, you had to read a translated work. And I picked 3 Japanese short stories. It is one of the Penguin Modern, the sun is really messing with me today, one of the Penguin Modern classics. Again, I give this a 3 star. The first one I didn't like, the middle one was okay, and the last one I really liked, and the last one was the shortest. There is a list of, if that will focus, of these stories and authors, because I don't want to butcher the names. You can pause that if you're interested. And it was translated by J. Rubin. So that was the translator, and I don't know if it was his translation maybe wasn't great. Nothing against J. Rubin, but I don't know, I felt like the writing style, especially in the first 2, was a bit weird. It was weird in the third one too, but it kind of worked. And yeah, as I said, General Kim was my favourite. The first 2 were more about people who had kind of come to a crossroads in their life and had stopped rather than taking a decision they'd stopped. So I would say this is be actually quite good for if you had someone who was maybe just starting or leaving university, those kind of places in their life. I think this would be pretty good. The last one was about history and how as a country we view our history differently to what outside perceives it and stuff. It was just like interestingly done, and how we must portray our own stories in a certain way to give ourselves like hope and security and stuff. There's a lot packed into whatever it was, 7 pages or whatever. The first 2 were longer and not really my bag, but I think that could be just where I am in my life right now. But as I said, I think if you had someone who was just maybe starting out on their own or something for the first time, it's quite an interesting one. I feel like my boyfriend would really enjoy this, so I think it's going to go to him next. That was it. I read 24 books this month. I know some of them weren't long, but I'm still like really happy with what I get done. School starts back in the next couple of days, so I don't know how successful reading wise September is going to be, but I am going to try to get back into a routine with my videos. I've kind of missed it. I feel like the last week or so I really felt rejuvenized to get back like into a good like booktube schedule, and I've had like a lot of good ideas. For those who don't know, over the summer I've been not only grieving but dealing with a lot of chronic health issues, so that's why I haven't like been about, but it has helped me to distract myself with books. I haven't been like really going out much and stuff, so I guess that's why I got through so much this month. But I'm hoping to next month get back to a bit more of normality. So if you have any suggestions for like types of videos that you would like to see and stuff, definitely leave them down below, because I'm really getting kind of hyped up for autumn. Love autumn. I set up my little autumn shelf. I've got autumn books in mind and like autumn videos, so I'm going to hopefully get a little like boost of motivation to get back into booktube again. All my social media is down below if you want to like contact me, follow me, Twitter, Instagram. I've kind of slipped off the Twitter train. I'm still about a lot like updating my reading and liking and interacting with people, but I haven't been actually like tweeting a lot. I need to get back on that, but I'm still keeping up kind of semi-regularly with my Instagram. I'm good at my Instagram stories, like, oh, I bought this book, oh, look at this, I've just read this, it was really good or whatever. So I'm just babbling now. I hope you're all happy, I hope you're all healthy, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.